This is Adrienne Fritz. Good morning, everybody. This is Adrienne Fritz in Corvallis, Oregon, your crowdfunding coach. How are you today? So today's webinar is all about list building. So what are lists, etc. But first, I wanted to give you an update before we jump into that topic. And by the way, today is just going to be me. I don't have a guest on today. It's going to be like a mini version of my fire hose webinars. Those are 2.5-hour webinars. They're $25 a piece, where I just unload a ton of information and resources for you. And this morning is going to be one of those. In about 15 minutes, I'm going to take a little tiny break, about a minute break, so I can hand off some things, but that's how it's going to go today. Okay, so welcome. The update is on the dodeca timer. So Mark Vanderpool is the inventor of this beautiful little timing device, the dodeca timer. This is the one that I've usurped for the moment. And each side, each face is an interval of time that you can set. So when I set this on my desk for 60 minutes, it starts timing, and then it will tell me at the end of the 60 minutes that my time is up. Personally, I love this. It's like an executive toy on my desk, and it's so much nicer to experience time intervals this way versus the loud buzzers and all the other ringing things I have on my computer and my phone. I really love the feel of this and all of that. So I'm very excited for Mark as he's putting together his crowdfunding campaign. He also has these little plastic versions. So this was printed on one of the 3D printers. This is still in prototyping stage. He's not yet ready to manufacture. And an even more exciting, well, in some ways it's more exciting. He got brilliant with the marketing of his dodeca timer. And so his business card is a paper dodeca timer. It's really very, very cool. Very cool. So these actually are handed out flat, and people then put them together. It reminds me of the Paws Easter egg things that you'd put together to make the theater with your eggs. So it has little tabs and slots and stuff. It's really quite brilliant. So all of these things are prototypes at this point, and he's just moving along beautifully. And as he goes, of course, he's learning more about what there is to do for his pitch, for his crowdfunding pitch, including our topic today, who to put on his list. So let's begin. I've been, just let you know, I've been kind of ill lately. So there's going to be a catch in my throat from time to time, and I apologize for that. But I'm here and I'm ready to work with you guys. Alrighty, so let's talk about lists. So who do you want to put on your list? Well, it's really quite simple. You start with those closest to you, and then we're going to talk about concentric rings. Just as you build your list, you're building them further out, which is exactly what you want to do. I'm having a little technical difficulty here. I apologize. So we're going to start with those closest to home, and that's your family, your friends, your coworkers. These are people who inherently have an interest in you succeeding with whatever project it is that you're putting together. So if you're an artist, I'm a visual artist. If you've got a show coming up and you're raising funds to mat and frame the work and to market it, etc., then your family and friends, I have found, are really, really awesome in the fundraising realm. You stick the project up, they get to see the work, they get to pre-purchase certain things, and then, of course, there's the show and the opening and all that. And it's a blast because it gives those people closest to me and to you an opportunity to really play with who you are, understand who you are, contribute to what you're doing in a way that they may not have felt capable of contributing before. So crowdfunding is a really beautiful tool for deepening the relationships with your close companions. So start there. Start with a list of family and friends and coworkers, and don't edit your lists as you're putting them together. Let the list be itself, grow on its own. You really just want to give yourself an opportunity to use this as a way to maybe even reconnect with some folks. So just start brainstorming your list. You'll have a list of those closest to you, a list of people in your past that maybe you'd like to reach out to, coworkers who you maybe haven't talked to in a while because they've gone to another company and you're here. So get on LinkedIn and start to pull together your list of former coworkers, vendors, people that you worked with that really you'd like to reconnect with. So there's multiple layers to crowdfunding. Crowdfunding is about relationships. It's about authenticity. It's it becomes exciting and successful when you're truly cultivating those authentic relationships. So why not start closest to home? So that's your first list, or your family, friends, coworkers, and then those that maybe you want to reconnect with, family, friends, and former coworkers, even high school buddies. There are some crowdfunding campaigns that are completely contributed to financially and buzz-wise from former schoolmates, school chums, college and high school folks. By and large, have big hearts, and they just want to see you succeed. So give them that opportunity to support you in this. So put your list together. Get yourself a notebook or a file that's always on your desktop, on your computer. So as you're going through your day, you can easily add members to these lists. Okay, so that's perhaps the easiest one to pull together, but it may be in some cases the most difficult to reach out. So we can talk about that in a little bit too. So the second list, the second ring that we want to start to pull together is your media ring. So these are sort of your obvious choices, right? So you're looking at newspaper, you're looking at local television, your favorite online news sources like Huffington Post for some of you. And now we're not looking at blogs yet, just looking at media. So news, broadcasting types of services or print services. Your favorite newspapers, magazines, all of that. So you start to put that list together on another tab in your spreadsheet or on another sheet of paper. Again, you're brainstorming, so you don't want to start editing out anybody yet. You don't even necessarily need to create a hierarchy, like who you're going to approach first, second. Just get the names down first and start to compile that list. I highly recommend that you use a spreadsheet or some other list building tool. Could be Outlook. You could have a CRM tool that you've already got set up. But begin to build that list where it's easily accessible. If it's electronic, it's portable. It'll be easier to move it into your mail campaign, like MailChimp, for example, etc. And then you can also add columns, so you can add notes and things like that. I personally love Excel spreadsheets. I love how you can freeze the top and the side, and you can just easily see your data as it moves around. And then you can add little comments and things on each of the different cells. And so you can have an entire universe of really helpful data right there in a single spreadsheet. It's amazing. And then because there's tabs, you can have similar categories for each tab as you go. So there's that piece. Excuse me for just a moment. I need to take a sip here. Did I tell you all that we live on a 100-acre farm? So 98 of the acres is actually rented by a grass farmer, but we are in the late spring of our year, which means we're planting and we're weeding and we're fertilizing and we're mowing and trimming. And boy, it's a very busy time of year. And it'll sort of slow down in a month or so, but in the fall, it's going to be awesome. Our orchard's producing amazing apples this year and plums, and this is the life I get to live. It's awesome. So let's get back to our list. Actually, if you look around you, there may be other categories of people that you could include. So for me, even that we've just been on the farm for a little over a year, and I just met a farmer down the street she's fabulous. And it turns out there's this entire connected community of farmers, women farmers in the area. So that's a whole new outreach list for me. And that's exciting because it wouldn't have occurred to me prior to my crowdfunding experience. It wouldn't have occurred to me that perhaps there's a way to contribute and be contributed to by these other groups of people that I wouldn't normally think about as close associates or even business associates. Our farm is not a business. It's just what we do while we're here developing another project, which in the end will also become a crowdfunding project, but a much larger project than a farm. But I lost my train of thought. Oh, yes. So it's not our primary business, but it's a group of people where we have some common interests. And so the things that I do in the world definitely contribute to what they're up to in the world, and vice versa. So all of a sudden I have a brand new list of connections that I just previously would not have considered. So give yourself an opportunity to really just let your mind go. Do the first brainstorming on your own, but then sit down with people in your community and your various communities. It could be a relative to help you brainstorm around the family. Could be someone in your business networking group. You sit down with that person and who would be interested in what you're doing and in supporting what you're doing. And they could even introduce you to other people. So then that's our third ring, where you ask for introductions to other people, other organizations that would have a definite interest in what you're doing. So, for example, one of my clients is trying to reinvigorate the small farming businesses in the United States and bringing manufacturing and the actual production and crafts work back to this country. So we're not producing goods in China, et cetera. And folks here are excelling in something that they love. And they're using alternative fibers. So it's just a whole nother realm of expansion. So what we're doing now in the list building is looking for all of those industries that are related to kind of this I don't want to call it a craft farm because it's really not that. It is small family farms that are organizing, but they're organizing in a way that they can truly invigorate local economies as well as produce some amazing handcrafted or small manufactured beautiful clothes and socks and artwork and all kinds of stuff. So the list where they may have started related to farms, unlike me. So they would start with the farms and stuff. Now we've expanded the list to athletes and artists and other groups of people who might find this alternative fiber very, very interesting and exciting, or already have and just don't have access to it on a broader base. And so those lists that we're starting to build start with the concentric circles. Here we are with family, friends, co-workers, or in this case, other farmers of these materials, raising these animals who give us these fibers. And then a little going out to media, because they just look at what they read, what the news that they consume. And so they start putting that on their list. And then finally, well, not finally, the next ring is really looking out there, using Google, using some search tools to find who's using these alternative fibers in their day-to-day or in their promotions and their marketing. And so they're starting to build this amazing list of folk who are already invested in what these farmers, this group of farmers, is up to. So, oh my gosh, how amazing is that? That's just so cool. So they're expanding their list too. Now, why it's important to build these lists, and there's more lists we're going to talk about, why it's important to build these lists is that before you launch your crowdfunding campaign, this is before you launch, you will be spending time creating relationships where none exist and expanding the relationships that you already have as it relates to the project that you're crowdfunding. We sort of think of it as a pre-campaign marketing, and these lists are absolutely critical. These are the bottom line, will make or break your campaign activity. These folks are the folks who you have an opportunity to really engage with before you launch your campaign, such that they are there ready to pledge. They are there ready to share the information. They are there ready to run with your project with you. And there's a whole strategy and planning that happens related to that. And of course, there's tools that we have that help you do that. And I'll talk about that a little later too. So let's see. Can take another sip. In the background over here, you see all the little dodeca timers? Aren't they awesome? I also love to collect art, emerging artists, and I'm new to this area, so that's my first purchase right there. I love that print. It's a telephone pole. You can't really see it way back there, but in the lines of the phone lines, she's written some beautiful, a short poem in the lines. It's really quite lovely. All right, back to lists. So the next circle of lists in our concentric circles are bloggers. So we're really looking to connect after we've started to identify who the close people are and who they have access to and who we normally would reach out to. Now we're going to look at bloggers. So in any category of project, I don't care what it is that you're doing, there's somebody out there who is popular, who's blogging about that activity. It's astounding it's not something that in traditional media you would ever have suspected, that there would be people and fans out there around these niche categories. Or maybe you knew that in the old, before the internet, but now there is just this prolific field of niche bloggers. And there's certain bloggers have certain levels of authority. So when you're putting your blogging list together, this is where some of these other search tools come in that I'll be showing you after the short break. And these are tools that I highly recommend you invest in. Most of them have like a 30-day free trial. So do all of the other work that you can do ahead of time, your inner circle lists. And then when you get to the outer circle, the bloggers, and you start to reach out to some of the other digital media folk out there, but we're going to focus on bloggers. Then you can really use that 30-day or the 14 days, whatever the trial period is, for the tools that we're going to take a look at, that you'll be ready to activate that tool, and then you can just use it to build up your list before you need to actually invest some cash into it. And then you're going to find out during that trial period which tool is best for you. So it's always good if you're going to try some new tool online, new software, etc. If they have that trial period, there's Mark in the background. If they're going to have that trial period, you want to be prepared to use it before you activate it. I don't know about you, but I have wasted those trial periods more than I care to say. And the lesson there is get ready, be ready to jump on it, so you can truly, truly experience the software, which is why they give you those trial periods. Is it right for you? They don't want folks who aren't going to use it properly. That isn't going to benefit them, because they won't be raving fans. And so you really want to use that time. Okay, another sip. It's interesting sharing an office with your mate. It's just interesting. We're both very, very busy. He's a software engineer. He's got a day job as well as working on the Dodeca timer. And of course, I have this that I'm doing, and then I consult on crowdfunding campaigns. Plus, I'm an artist. And so we're very, very busy. And then we got the farm. So it's interesting sharing such a close space with my sweetheart. And it works out really well for us. For whatever reason, we're just able to work together so easily. It's lovely. And I wish for everyone to have that. And he's always the first person on my list, no matter what list. And he's also one of the people that I brainstorm with a lot around who it is that I might want to include or invite into the different processes for the different projects that I'm on. Yes, so rabid fan, there's one there. And let's talk about rabid fans. So maybe even on the more inner circle is those people who have always just raved about you. I have a small community of people who have always just thought that what I did was it, that it was brilliant, that it was something that needed to have life and be shared. And that group of people I trust implicitly, because they will tell me what's so. They're not the folks who tell you what you want to hear or tell me what I want to hear. They're telling me what I need to hear in order to succeed. And they're actually my inner circle. Those are the folks I go to first. It just happens to include my mother as well. She's 88 years old and sharp as a tack. And oh my gosh, she just really gets the world as it is today, in addition to having all of that information from the past. And it's invaluable. just having this community, a small community of people who have always been rabid fans of me and what I do. Yeah. So how could I have missed that inner circle? There you go. There's another circle. So let's get back to the bloggers. Now these folks, in the way that you've got that inner circle of just trusted friends and family, and those people that are on that tiny will tell you the truth no matter what circle. The bloggers are very similar, but on an out facing way. So who they are in their communities is that voice, that trusted voice, who is feeding the community the kind of information, the kind of news, sharing the kinds of things that are important to them. And so these people can be amazing allies in your crowdfunding campaign. And if you haven't known them before, obviously you've got to get to know them. There's probably bloggers that you already read. So those folks should be on your blogger list, like at the top, if you were going to prioritize. But start to look at them as not tools that you're going to use to market what you're doing. Rather, these are amazing partners who, if their passion is ignited, will make a difference, not just for your campaign, but for what your campaign is offering to the world. One of the main things to really understand about crowdfunding campaigns is it really isn't about you, even though you are front and center. Who you are and how you present what you're doing is front and center. There's your passion, there's your reasons why you're doing what you're doing. There's all of those things that, had you put this together, take the risk of getting out there publicly. That's the thing that the people out there are going to identify with, because they have that inside them too. So it becomes about them. You and your success and what you're offering becomes about them. And if you're approaching your campaign from that perspective, that it's not about you, that it really is a contribution outside of yourself, that is going to make a huge difference in how you communicate, with whom you communicate, and then who you end up partnering with, like these bloggers. Because they are interested in what they're doing and what they're offering out there in the world. And so we're looking for partnerships, and it doesn't mean you only choose one or two and you reach out to them all, and you find, just like you do with friends, or when you're hiring someone, you want to reach out to who seems the most appropriate and invite them in, tell them what you're doing, find out what they're doing. What are they interested in? What are their blog posts about? You want to do all that research so you really understand who it is that you're approaching. Is this time consuming? Absolutely. But I promise you, it is worth the time that you invest. The more time you put in before you launch your campaign, and I don't mean wasted time, but focused energy, focused resources, focused time, in building all of these bits and pieces of your campaign out. It's going to make a huge difference when you launch. I promise you. So you want to give yourself the luxury of time as you're building your campaign. And that's 30 to 45 days of time that you want to build and start to create the foundation and the structure for the relationships that will make a difference in your campaign. Okay, we're at 1/2 I'm going to take a little break, and let's see. Let me see if I could find something pretty that I can put up for a moment. Oh, I know what I can do. I recently joined Fiverr, and I'm offering our our tools. Our crowdfunding tools that that my participants in my crowdfunding courses use as I coach them along in all of this stuff. Okay, here we go. So I'm going to show you. Here we go. All right, I'm going to switch over to my other screen. And this is on Fiverr. And the whole concept behind Fiverr is for $5, you can purchase a dynamite set of services, or in my case, an amazing set of tools that you can use to create powerful crowdfunding campaigns. But there's writers, there's graphic designers, there's coders. For it doesn't matter what your project is. It doesn't have to be crowdfunding. Whatever your project is, if you need some help, this is turning out to be a really interesting place to start to explore at a very reasonable cost. I mean, $5 for the tools to run your campaign, that's pretty darn good. I've got someone doing some social media marketing for me. $5. It's amazing. Just testing everything out. All right, so let me switch to that screen. Okay, so it's fiverr.com, and look up Kick-Ass Crowdfunding, and you will find the $5 packet. You get not only what's in that zip file, the spreadsheets and the PDF planning tools, you also get a free membership to the Kick-Ass Crowdfunding group on Money for Something, and in there are other resources. So all of our Get Funded videos that have been edited are in there. You have access to all of that, and then new tools as we develop them. That group will be testing those tools, but also then they have access to it. So sign up, $5, easy peasy, thousands of dollars worth of value, I promise. Okay, I'll be back in just a moment. Oh.
Can we take any break?
Wait, I'm not muted. And I don't know how to mute myself. Now you can hear me. We're back. So Mark has made me some licorice tea for my throat, which is fabulous. It's sitting here brewing. And we want to talk about list building tools. And we're talking about bloggers right now. So I'm just going to talk about the tools that I'm currently using to build my lists, and some of them are mailing list types of things. To you sign up on somebody's website to be on a mail list. So that's definitely one of the list building tools that is critical. So whether you're using Constant Contact, or in our case, we use MailChimp, that's one of your key list building tools. Then there's a new one, and I'm going to take you through the process of signing up for this one. So here we go. I'm going to share my screen. So this is called BuzzStream. And you see, start your free trial in seconds. So this is one of those my screen is saying that it's not sharing. So I'm going to try again. Well, we might have an internet issue here. I apologize. Let's try again. Okay, I need to check something really quick. I apologize. We're having technical difficulties. I'm not sure if you guys are seeing my screen share. I need to check and see if you're seeing what I'm seeing. Well, I guess I will assume that it's broadcasting. So this is BuzzStream, and if it's not broadcasting, I'll cut this into the video when I edit it. But you want to go in and sign up, and I'm going to have to use, let's see, another address. Black Ink Mysteries is one of my artistic expressions. Those are the interactive live action role-playing games that I create. It's very exciting, I think. Pacific time. Okay, here we are. We're going to call this Black Ink Mysteries. And I'm going to choose a password. I'm just going to choose one of these. That looks good. Oh, I realize you just saw my credit card number. Okay, so now we're in. And as you go through, you can import all of your lists. You can connect to Twitter. We're going to create the first project. So we're just going to call it Black Ink Mysteries. And this is a tool, so list of websites. This is great. So if you already know bloggers and websites where you want your project to show up, you can just put the URLs right in here. So I actually can't think of any. offhand, so I'm going to do Facebook. So I did current project. Okay. So we'll add that. So now BuzzStream is going out there and looking for information from the Facebook page. Let's see. Okay. Now we're going to go to people. This is where the list building capacity is really amazing with BuzzStream. So we're going to add people. And let's see, we could do list of URLs. So again, let's say I want to add, let's go to Huffington Post. And go in here, I'm going to find somebody. Oh, this is Tim Giago. That's good. He's somebody I definitely would want to have on my side on one of my projects. We're just going to do this. Okay, and so it just goes through and it's going to start to compile information. And it says it's going to come, it's going to send me an email here to my email address, which, here we go. So if we're looking at the email, here's BuzzStream. This is saying welcome, da-da-da-da-da, outreach, tracking webinars. So then there's all these training tools in here, which is really fabulous. But now what I'm waiting for is other content from BuzzStream. So let's see if that's coming yet. Takes a while for my mail to get through. Go to link monitoring, or add links. Okay, here we go. BuzzStream has come back. Added one person has been added. Okay. All right. We are failing in the demo. Here we go. So here's the two that we've added. This is where the contacts are. It gives us a whole list of different people at Huffington Post or different categories that we could add to our stream. So let's say, I don't know who Ed is, but we're going to add Ed. And let's add Al. All right, so now let's see if the people are in there. Nope, still websites. So that was great. Here we go. Looks like it's populating. Info for home. Okay. So you can start to build your information here, and then you can build out all of this here. It's incredible, the information that you can gather on the different folks that you're putting in your list. So You can add any kind of note in here. This will show the history of you connecting with them with email and Twitter. So all of the conversations stay right here in their file in BuzzStream. Any links that you want to add or that are appropriate for this particular file will be in there. And then all the information that you could possibly need to understand about this contactor in here. Let's see what we discovered. So these are the different links. And they may not be appropriate, so you just don't add them. So that's the note. You can add a new link related to it. So let's say that we're going to add a blog. This would be outreach. Whoops. Outreach.
Good morning.
From linking to. We're going to do the linking to here. Linking from. Okay, so we're starting to accumulate data here. Then you can create tasks. So do I need to get in touch with Black Ink? Do I need to call the blogger? Have I set up a date and time to meet with them? All of that stuff. So all of that can go in here into BuzzStream. And it takes time, but BuzzStream is a tool that makes this so easy. Can you imagine doing this in a spreadsheet? It would take forever to do it in a spreadsheet. This tool is so perfect for online marketing, which really is what crowdfunding is. It's a small business plan or very focused business plan that you are sharing with the world. And this tool just helps you build up an amazing database of folks related to any of the projects that you're putting together. In this case, we're just starting with a single project, but every project that you work on that has anything to do with other humans can go into BuzzStream. And from here, from the dashboard, then you're able to send out messages and communicate with this entire community of online personas, connections, people that you have reached out to who have similar interests as you. Just, gosh, it's such an amazing tool. So you only get 14 days to try it. So my recommendation is you put your other list together, you start to understand, like get a feel for list building just on your own. And then when you're ready to go to the further out circle, try BuzzStream when you're going out for the media, for the bloggers, etc. I need to take a break. I'm sorry. Nice hot liquids. That's good for my throat. All right. The other thing I want to look at is MailChimp, and we're just going to log in to my artist campaigns. Now this is where, let's go to my list. This is where I'm starting to build different lists around money for something. So I've got 45 subscribers. It's a small subscriber base, but it's an active base. These are people who have participated years ago in the Oregon Technology Business Center. So these are the different lists that I have that I'm starting to build. So Black Ink Mysteries is one of those. And right now, the only people in the list are myself and Mark. But here you can see who's in your mail list, and email marketing is the second cornerstone piece to, the first piece to build is your website. The second is your email list and database. And so in here, you're able to see how people are participating with your newsletters. And I'm going to pick, let's go back. Let's go to a campaign. Let's pick this one. So you're importing or people are signing up for the webinars or whatever it is, your promotion that you're sending out there for your crowdfunding campaign. This is one of the emails I sent out post webinar. It's a beautiful email. And let's go to reports. So we're going to look for the report. And this now tells you like where your performance level is on this list. So this is the industry average right here, this rust color. And this is the click rate on this particular email that went out. That's pretty good. Where the rubber meets the road, however, is not just the open rate, it's also this click rate, which is right now pretty low on this particular email that I sent out. So you want these to be guides to your performance. These are ways of taking a look at the message that you've sent out. There should always be some level of, not some level, always a call to action in your campaigns. So you're interacting with people. It's really important to do that. And this way you can start to brainstorm what works and what doesn't work in your campaigning. So that's a quick overview of lists for the day. And I can tell I'm going to be editing this particular broadcast heavily. I'll probably add some resources in the follow-up broadcast to get all access to all of the Get Funded webinars. You'll always have access to the webinars through the posts and stuff, but to get them all in a collection in a library, become a Kick-Ass crowdfunding member by purchasing the $5 kit. At this point, I may open that up later, but buy the kit now, get in, and you'll get access to all of the Get Funded webinars, the edited versions that have more sweetness and lots of editing, cutting out what doesn't work and adding stuff that does work. But that's all essentially free, where you get that extra information. Plus, you'll get any new tools that come out for testing in their beta versions, and you'll be first on the list for any news on upcoming webinars. Our fire hose webinars that start this month, those $25 2.5 hour, just going to dump a lot of great information on you, and share resources, share tools for that for $25, 2.5 hours. Hundreds of dollars, maybe thousands of dollars worth of information and tools that will empower your campaign way more than these 1 hour broadcasts do. All right, so thank you so much for joining, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. We'll be back on our regular schedule of the first and third Wednesdays of broadcasts. And then the fourth Wednesday of every month will be the fire hose webinars. So we're looking forward to that. All right. Take care. Namaste.